I'm gonna use Saturn again. I'm not really sure. I'll find a technique I like, and I'll just do that on everything. And like the more I do it, I'll kind of find out what application suits best. But I've had great success of using this on rooms as well. But I'll split it up in as many bands as I want to kind of shape the sound. It's like an EQ, but you're also distorting the bands in different amounts and different bands. So let's just split this up in a couple of bands here. I usually want to do 5, I think. So here we go from like 4,000 and up, which is like the nice sounding high end, I'll say. Then we go about like 1,000 to like 1,200 to 4,000 hertz, which is more the attack, I'd say. Then I'll do the mids, which would be for this at least like 300 hertz to 1,200 hertz. Then we do the boxy kind of mids, like the low mids, which would be 100 hertz to 300 hertz. Then we do the low end. That's just kind of how I split it up. Makes sense to me. When I distort these different amounts, but what I do is I'll solo the high end. I crank it, and I'll see if that's enough. And if it's not enough, I'll just boost the in signal. That's not enough at all. That's about good. Then I just go through each band by itself and kind of distort.
What are you listening for?
Right now I'm just listening for the distortion amount that doesn't destroy the sound or make it sound artifacty or weird, I'd say.
So you so much like when you were adding it to the snare, where it was just kind of like just makes it sound more like the snare.
Yeah.
Did you move your pack?
What's that?
Can you move your pack out of your pocket, please?
Yes.
I want the frequencies to bloom more, I'd say,
Yeah.
kind of react more, because the hard thing about compressing room tracks is like the softer hits, especially on snares, kind of get way too loud. So I want to do what I can do before the compressor to get the sound to explode more.
Yeah, but what I think is impressive is you would never know that you're using distortion.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't want it to sound distorted for sure. Yeah, that's right. And also, it's always this warm tape setting kind of helps with that. It's a really mellow distortion, I'd say, which is good for this. This and bring it back. Good. And then I'll do like the individual levels later. Actually, you can see here, I want to move this here, this part, which is kind of louder than anything else here. This is like the boxy sounding low mids. It's whatever you think it is. Also, what we don't want to do with the kick, I just realized, since we did the filter on the close mics, we don't want any phase problems. So we're going to do the same filter. I'm just going to check here. It's 24 dB per octave instead of 18, so I have to know that. So 35 hertz, 24 dB per octave. What it sounded like now. So before, just a huge volume difference, of course, but just kind of listen to this and the kick drum and kind of do the levels of each band. I'm just gonna.
First off,
Yeah.
that is drastic and
It
awesome. That's great. I've never really seen that done before. So now you're taking that and you're blending it with the original kick.
Correct.
Beautiful.
That sounds cool to me. I'll decide later if I'm gonna compress this or not. I'm always compressing the snare room, but I'm not really sure about kick for this song. So I'm gonna move on to the snare room. Oh, whoops. I'm trying to learn Nick's cool key commands I get to learn, but I'm not really used to them right now.
Cancel the whole thing. Just cancel.
Cool. I'll do the same Saturn trick there, also on the toms. I'll just move this over so I have it. But I'll just zero this out. And I'm not going to do the same bands. Hold on. Can I do this at the same time? No, I can't. Maybe I can. Oh, really? I think I have a brain fart. I know how to do this, but I don't know right now how to do it. All right. So I think I'm going to do maybe 4 bands for this. So let's remove that one. So I'll do low end from like 300 hertz and down. Then the same mids, attack, and high end. So I'll listen, I'll crank this once again. Let's bring it back.
Buster,
Yeah.
what is it you're listening for with this?
Same thing, like
Same thing.
yeah, essentially. I want it blown up sounding. I want it to sound like an explosion, without any distortion artifacts, kind of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so Legend says you can hold either Command or Alt and then mouse click it to reset to the original value.
Yeah, I think this is I'm not used to this keyboard, and I kind of don't really think about when I do it. So it's like in my muscle memory. So I just kind of got a brain fart.
Yeah, you're going to be getting... Do you want me to tell you these tips when they come in, or just...
I'll handle it.
Okay,
I'll make it happen.
Stop trying to help.
No, but if it's like a deal-breaking thing, like the compressor, that was great help. But
Okay.
if I can make it work.
Okay.
Okay, I'm happy with that high end. I also moved the band a bit. Uh-oh. Let's see if we can do a proper before and after. If I just bring this output down. Huge difference when I have the same volume, but it will be cutting through a lot more. Let's do it without. width. But I'll EQ this with the snare. EQ this before because I hear like a resonant mid frequency right now that I don't really like. It's probably this one. That one and that one. That's the one. So before, after. Let's compress this. It's easier also to EQ rooms with all the instruments going because you know what frequencies you need to cut through a lot more.
So do you kind of consider this initial drum work that you do kind of just like a starting point that you'll then come back to?
Yeah.
Yeah, once you have everything in there.
For sure.
So you're just trying to get them to like a good, reasonable starting point.
Yeah. Let's start there with that. Let's see if I can do this. No, that's not the right one. Let's hear this out at least. Huh. Oh shit. No, I can't seem to figure that one out. I'm sure what he says was correct, but it is what it is. Alright. These are toms, so I want to remove this one as well for that. Or do I? Maybe I want to keep it, actually. Let's listen. Let's listen to it all here. We need to take care of some ringing here. I forgot about that. Bunch of honky mid-range. I'm pretty sure it's this. I'll just bring that down. Okay, I just brought that distortion up a bit because it sounds a bit weird. Oh. Missing some bottom end in the snare. I'm kind of thinking about what mic I'm gonna boost it on. Do the close one. My favorite thing for low end on snare is this one, just 100 hertz. Just a bit more body.
Someone was wondering, Mergen was wondering, do you always use the Saturn tricks on drums?
No, that's just something I started with recently, and I'm trying it out on different sources and stuff like that, and see where it fits best. I kind of found out that it's like the best sounding on guitars. That's like one place where I really feel it's great, really. So I'll show that later. But I mean, it's just an alternative for a bunch of EQ moves, but it's a bit more extreme, so you don't have to do as much, I feel like.